Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sam, Kwak, and
Daniel.
And you're listening to the Kwak Brothers podcast here, and
So
today...
you gotta make these more entertaining, man. It's like people are listening. If you're listening, you're probably driving right now.
This is first time Daniel's on board. And
maybe you're working out.
He's already giving us a hard time here, so there we go.
Maybe you're in the bathtub. Let me coach you through your bathtub session. I want you to look at your toes. Count the toes, right?
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this week's topic. Daniel is first time here in the podcast, and he'll be...
I never put out content.
He'll always be here, so he's going to join us next week.
See, here's the thing, people. For you listening on the podcast, let me explain something to you about our team. And this ties into exactly how successful you have to be in real estate. See, Sam is what you call a marketing pro, right? So he loves to market. I, on the other hand, I love real estate. I love putting deals together. But Sam definitely knows how to get the word out, and he knows how to have people find him. So this is a good mix. You have to have a good mix.
So is that the topic you want to talk about today? Is putting together a good team for your real estate?
No, I don't think these people are ready. I'm just kidding. Well, let's talk about the basics, because I think a lot of people listening to the podcast they don't understand the basics, and oftentimes. The reason why people don't make money in real estate is because they don't understand the basics, right? Like Bruce Lee talks about, and how fitting, right? Because we're Asian. But Bruce Lee talks about, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks, right? He fears the man that does one kick for 1,000 days, right? 1,000 times. And I really do think that's the approach you have to make in real estate, because, real estate is so universal. There's markets, there's one strategy. There's strategies that you can implement everywhere in the market, and you have to know how to be flexible. It's crazy because you have to be like water. You have to be extremely flexible, but there's some basic knowledge that you need to have that prevents you from losing money. And I think a lot of people are focused on making 7 figures, 6 figures on one deal, but they're not necessarily focused on their downside. And that, honestly, if you focus on your downside, the what's going to happen naturally, right? What is a byproduct of protecting your downside and understanding the fundamentals of real estate and practicing them are what's going to create your 6-7 figure income, right? So let me give you an example. All I do today is I protect my downside when I put these deals together. I think the number one reason why I'm very good at putting these deals together is because I know how to protect the downside, and I know who I can go to protect that downside better than potentially I could protect the downside, right? And everyone on the team, right, everyone on the firm has the same mindset. Protect the downside and the upside will take care of itself, right? Trump said that. Whether you like him or not, he's a great real estate investor. You can't deny that. So here's the downside that you have to protect, right? And I believe there's the three-legged stool. I think real estate is a 3-legged stool, right? And if you do these 3 stools, the stool will always stay up, right? As long as you have these 3 legs that are extremely strong, the stools will always sit up, right? They'll always stay up. The reason why a lot of people lost money in 08 is because they had 2 stools, right? Or the reason why a lot of people lose money in real estate in general, because they have 1 stool, 2 stools, and yeah, it may stay up for a while, maybe for a couple seconds, but if you keep building on things on top of that stool with only 2 legs or 1 leg, eventually the stool is going to get heavy enough and it's going to fall over because you only have 2 or 1 leg. So here are the 3 stools of real estate. If you're writing things down, you can write this down. If you're working out, if you're driving, take mental notes, or you can go back because this is recorded and it's free. You're welcome, right? Well, I say thank you to Sam, right? You guys should think thanking Sam, not me. But here's the first stool, right? The first stool is people, right? So who do you have? Do you have a mentorship group, right? And I always tell people the same exercise. When you're getting started in real estate, here's what you need to do, step by step, right? A lot of people are complaining about, well, I don't have step-by-step instructions. Well, here's your first step. Grab a sheet of paper, right? And draw a line across the middle. On the top, it should be things that you have currently, and on the bottom, it should be things that you don't have currently. And I want you to compile a list, right, on the side or on another sheet, right? I want you to write down contractor, property manager, and you should have multiple slots for mentor, right? People are going to mentor you in those things. So contractor, property manager, attorney, right? Couple of investors that can help you out, partners, right? 1 or 2.
And you're going to need a really good real estate broker on your corner too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So broker.
Right.
And you have to have investors, so private capital, right? Private investors. And write down anything that you will need to get this deal completed, right? Because you will need more. You'll need landscapers, you'll need painters, right? And that kind of falls under the contractor category. But make a list of everything, and out of that list, divide those into either the top half or on the bottom half, right? If you have a lot in the top half, congratulations, right? Look at the people on your list and assess it. Are they good? Do you have backups, right? Can they follow through? What's the integrity level of those people, right? What is the morale like? What is the relationship like? And if the relationship status is low, great, you better build that relationship, right? Take them out to lunch, do something, get to know them. Your team should really be like your family, right? And in my case, my team, a couple people on my team are blood families, right? Like Sam's considered my right-hand man in real estate. I have a lot of mentors that I consider to be like father figures of mine that are doing real estate. So if you don't have those on the bottom, talk about how you can get them, right? Who can I go to that knows these people? Who can I leverage? What type of relationships can I leverage, right? So that's the first stool, the first leg of real estate. And you really need to have, this is, in my opinion, this is one of the strongest legs that you will ever need in your real estate investing career. Because I always tell people all the time, real estate is always about numbers, it's always about properties, yes, but more importantly, first and foremost, it's about people, right? Business is about people. It's about giving people the solution, giving people what they want so that you can achieve your goals too. All right. Any comments, Sam?
I think I gotta absolutely agree with you. Having a strong team, and this is something that we say all the time in our other YouTube videos and our blogs. Real estate is not a solo sport, right? And I personally experienced a downfall where I tried turning it into a solo sport, and it didn't go so well, right? So you want to make sure you have all the right people in the right seat, as Jim Collins would say it in his book Good to Great. You want to have the right people in your team, like what Daniel has mentioned, attorneys, accountants, contractors, good property management, if you don't have one of those, real estate brokers. So yeah, and absolutely right. If you want to be successful in real estate investing, relationship is definitely a key. I would say the number one key is knowledge. Number two keys, I would say.
You also have to systematically know who. So don't just write the name down on top of the sheet, right? Write down a paragraph as to who they are, what they are like, what do you know about them, what are their gifts, what are their strengths, right? So you have the right people. But what are their strengths, right? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And write why this person is essential to be on your team, right? If you're having a hard time with this paragraph, maybe you should look at somebody new. Right? Maybe you should look at somebody new, because once you start building a lot of units, you can't build a lot of units unless you have these things in place. And even if you do, it's going to come down on you real quick. Right? Maybe real quick is 3, 4, 5 years. I've seen it happen every time, and I see people happening every single week. So that's the first stool of real estate investing, fundamentals, right? And believe me, I can talk about this for another 3 hours. It'll probably be another podcast. But stool number 2, which arguably is the most important, it's knowledge. Right? I mean, I get people, because I personally raised $8 million in the last 8 months, 6 to 8 months or so, right? I raised a lot of money. And a lot of people come up to me saying, hey, Daniel, what did you do to raise all that money? I tell them the same thing. I'm smart, right? And what I mean by I'm smart is I've watched a lot of education, right? I'm tied to the #1 real estate education company in the country, in the world, actually. And I've watched every single class, right? They have 460 hours of education. I watched every single class 3 to 4 times. I consistently, every single day, right, 6 to 8 hours, I am studying macroeconomics and where the market is headed, right? Where can I take my company? Where can I take this vision, our team? Where do we have to go, right? Like, where does Moses have to go to take the Israelites out of Egypt, right? But I study macroeconomics for 6 to 8 hours a day, but I also take classes, right? So ask yourself this question, right? If you're trying to raise $1 million, right, would you invest in yourself? Do you feel confident right now in your ability to put a deal together with the right people, with the right type of knowledge, with the right strategy, with the right economic standpoints, with the right market factors, with the right timing, right? And also with the right properties, with the right deal, right? With the right investors coming in on the deal, right? So if you can't answer those questions honestly and consistently and confidently, then maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and make sure you focus on yourself, right? Make sure you focus on your education and knowledge. And my mentor tells me all the time, you're either going to pay for education or you're going to pay for ignorance. All right?
Right. Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And I think Daniel kind of touched on something. He just gave me an idea of a question. If you were to look at yourself as an outsider, so let's pretend that you are somebody else and you look at yourself right now. And if you're the person that you're imagining, which is you, if you had $1 billion in your bank account and you were looking at yourself and your current business right now in your current situation, would you be comfortable giving yourself, the person who you are, a loan or an investment or partnership with the given knowledge that you have, right? If the answer is no, then maybe it's like Daniel said, it's another time, maybe it's a reflection time for you to take a look at. reflect on your business, reflect on what you know, and you just got to be honest with yourself, right? If you don't know what you don't know, maybe it's time for you to step it up, and I don't know what the solution is. Maybe sign up on an education program, or work with a mentor. Of course, Daniel and I are always welcoming qualified individuals to work with. That's always open. Not everyone will get qualified, but we're always working with new people. So that's something you should definitely take a look at. Certainly, is you gotta ask yourself, do I deserve to have someone invest $1 million in my deals?
Well, here's what's funny. Let's go back to the concept of protecting your downside. If you're taking time to invest in yourself, right, and you're getting educated and you're learning things about economics and market factors and what's going to happen, and you're learning about how to actually put a deal together, and you're going out and checking out these properties, you're protecting your downside in the long run. And then even in the short term, right, you're protecting your downside because so many people want to learn. Let's say this: so many people out there, especially in certain groups, right, they have more confidence than they do have competence. Right, a lot more and I'm not saying confidence isn't bad, right, but there's blind confidence. I really do believe in that, and that's so much upside. All right, they get excited, they read a couple books, they read some articles on the internet, and they think all of a sudden they know how to put a deal together. Absolutely not, right? Really, absolutely not. You're building your leg, right, of the stool. You're building your leg out of paper. That's what you're doing. You're building it out of cards. And sure, it's good, right? You're convincing yourself by reading books and learning things on the internet. Like I meet so many real estate investors who think they can put a deal together just because they read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the case. Like that's just so unrealistic.
And not to bash on Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad, phenomenal book. It inspired me to get into real estate investing, and I know Daniel has impacted him as well. But again, it's something to consider. It's very basic. Real estate investing is a risky industry, right? It's like being a doctor or a surgeon or being a pilot. All those professions involve a great amount of risk. I think we need to kind of treat this industry with the same amount of respect that we do for medical industry or for, airline industry, right? So that's something that we
here's
need
the
to
thing
consider.
though, and I don't say that for my sake, right? Like everything I'm saying, because in all honesty, at the end of the day, let's face it, right? Whether you guys go out there and do this stuff or not, or take this advice or not, I'm still making money, right? I did $3 million this year, or not this year, this month alone on real estate, 60 units in the next 2 weeks at the time of this recording, right? Doesn't matter if you guys go out and do it or not, so I might as well tell you the truth. I might as well give you the best advice that I could give, considering what I've done today, right? So protect your downside, right? Really protect your downside.
Mm-hmm.
I've met people who do one bad deal and they're just gone. Right. Forget it. They can't do a deal anymore, right? Or they lose investors because they put one bad deal together, right? So that's the second stool of real estate. So we got people. You gotta have the right people, right? Second, you gotta have the right knowledge. You gotta have the infinite knowledge will never stop, right? It's a journey. That's what they say. It's always a journey. That's a stool that's gonna keep on growing, right? And that's what you want. You want your stool to keep on growing. You want your three-legged stool to constantly be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so it can support more success, right? Final leg, my opinion, tools. You gotta have tools, right? I know Sammy and I have a software that we use. Great software, right? But people can be tools too. You can use other people to network. And here's the thing: if you network with professionals, they're gonna want to network with who? Individuals that know what they're doing, right? Individuals who have a lot of knowledge, who have a lot of education. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work. It really is not gonna work. And people will question you too, right? Like I remember one time I was raising funds. This person had a 7-figure liquidity, and he was just asking, so in your opinion, what are the interest rates going to do to the valuation of the property, and how do you foresee forecasting that, and how do you see that being advantageous for me making money and for you making money, right? And fortunately, I had an answer for him because I study this stuff like a madman. But you got to ask yourself, what if somebody asked you that question? Would you have a good answer? Do you even know what that is? Right. If you don't know what that is, congratulations, you're in the 90% of people that I meet every single week who eventually lose a lot of money because they don't know what they're doing in real estate. And that sounds harsh, maybe it does, but I'm much rather be honest. Right. I'm much rather be honest and have you guys learn this now and just say, hey, Daniel, you're an a-hole. Thanks for discouraging me, rather than you 3 years later coming up to me and saying, hey, Dan, I lost $4 million with the real estate. How could you didn't warn me about this 3-4 years ago? Right.
Yeah, and not doing a deal right now and for the sake of learning is much better than doing a bad deal. So not doing a deal, or I should say doing a bad deal, is 1,000 times worse, right, than not doing a deal. So take that to heart, and if you're in a position where I would say you're still learning or you're not just ready yet, you know, like what Daniel said, just start assembling relationships together, get to know people, and you know, whatever, however you choose to go about educating yourself about real estate and the economy, and the general, the practice of business, right? Do it, right? Take those knowledge to heart, and definitely grow in that manner. Because you know, we definitely don't want to kid around, right? We don't want to be a profession where people just can come in and think that they can make money and get flushed out by what happens to the economy or what happens to that bad transaction or decision.
Yeah, man, absolutely. This is fun. You know, real estate's fun. I love real estate, man. I would do it if I make less. Well, I mean, making money's fun, but real estate's fun, man. It intrigues me. I'm like a mad scientist with this type of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, three-legged stool is real estate fundamentals, people. You gotta practice the fundamentals, right?
Yep.
The championship team, or is the team that always practices the fundamentals more than anything. All right, you gotta protect your downside, and your upside will take care of itself, right?
Yeah. So let's recap real quick the three-legged stools of real estate.
Yeah. So you got people, right? Who's on your team? And I would say get a blank sheet of paper, draw a line in the midsection, and divvy it up for everything, right? Same thing with knowledge, right? What do I know? What do I know how to do, right? And on the bottom, right? All right, what do I don't know how to do, right? And in my opinion, what you don't know how to do should always be equal or greater than what's on the top. But just make sure what's on the top is pretty fundamental, right? Like if you're put on the bottom, I don't know how to put a deal together. That's a problem, right?
Right.
It's a huge problem. So we got knowledge, people, and we got tools, right? Tools are astronomical. If you want to find the best tools, find people who are doing really well. Ask them, hey, what are the tools that you're using that you're so successful? All right, and would you mind sharing them with me? All
right.
So let's recap. You know what we should talk about next week? We should talk about some things that are going on in the macro sense of economics that are making some huge changes in real estate right now.
Yep. So guys, if you guys want to tune in on the next week's podcast, be sure to subscribe to our SoundCloud channel. This will also go on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll always update you guys every week. And you guys will have an episode coming out to you. And again, we may do some stuff down the road that you may not be notified about. And how do you get notified? Is to subscribe. To subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to like this video if you're listening from YouTube. If you want to download this into an MP3 format, make sure you go to soundcloud.com/thekwakbrothers.com, soundcloud.com/thekwakbrothers.com. So TheKWAKBROTHERS. If you're there right now, perfect. You guys do have the option to download this into a offline file, so that if you're flying, right? If you're on a
Just download it. I mean, we're not making any money off of it.
Right, exactly. So if you're on a flight, or if for some reason mobile data is scarce to you, to download it with Wi-Fi and then listen to it while you're.
That's another good topic, scarcity mindset.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So next week we're gonna cover the macroeconomic sense. We're gonna have Daniel come back to us. He'll be back very frequently. We're gonna make sure that
we're doing this every week, baby.
Yeah, every week.
We're doing it every week, man. It's about time I start putting out some content. I feel selfish with all the knowledge that I have.
Well, I get it.
Just not giving it out.
So we're gonna come back next week, and be sure to tune into YouTube. If you want to see some videos, Daniel will also have videos as well. But if you want to see videos of us kind of spewing out our wisdom and knowledge about real estate investing, remember, it's youtube.com/C, the letter C, /the Kwak Brothers. Same spelling, TheKWAKBROTHERS. Go there, watch some of our videos. You're gonna love it. Lots of content, and you'll grow smart. Like we talked about, you're gonna get some knowledge from our YouTube videos. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and tune in for next week's podcast. And be sure to subscribe, and then we'll see you guys and talk to you next week.
See y'all.